Welcome, everyone. It is April 3rd, 2025, and this is another episode of Oracle Apex Office Hours. I'm your host today, Jason Haynes. I'm a product manager on the Apex team, and today we are going to be speaking about pixel perfect printing in Apex with Document Generator. So if you haven't had a chance to learn about this new feature, it's available in Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. This is going to be a great session for you as an Apex developer to learn how you can leverage this new feature available to you for developing your Apex apps with pixel perfect printing. But first, there's a few announcements and updates you should be aware of. So we have a couple new Apex blog posts. Obviously, if you're not familiar, this is a good link for you to have in your bookmark. It's blogs.oracle.com/apex. But we have a blog that is about 3 easy steps to integrate OCI document generator functions. So that's going to be paired very well with the content being presented today. And also, we have upcoming the Oracle Apex Nordic Tour. And we're going to be in Helsinki, Finland, Copenhagen, Denmark, and Stockholm, Sweden in May. Very exciting times ahead. So you can hit any of those blogs to learn a little bit more about each topic. The last Apex Office Hour sessions have been published. I know some people aren't very happy that it takes us a few days, if not a week or more, to get some of these published, but sometimes we make some flubs. Video needs to be edited, and we have to sometimes get some legal review with some of the content being presented, and that takes time. But you can see here, our last Apex Office Hour sessions involve Apex 24.2 and what's new. It was a 4-part series, and it's available pretty much where you were on the link to get to this Zoom to begin with. But go ahead and take a look at that if any of those particular topics contained within are of interest to you. So we have a bunch of in-person conferences coming up. Next week, I join our newest North American Apex product manager, John Colden, in Southern California in Santa Monica. We're hosting an Oracle Apex bootcamp there. So if you're in the region and you're interested in joining, it's absolutely free. Oracle employees included, students included, customers, partners. If you want to send somebody to learn about Apex, the Apex bootcamps are the best opportunity for you today. And this is a one-day opportunity in Santa Monica on the 8th. And then I fly over to Western Virginia across the country to host the same event with our Apex team located there in the intergalactic headquarters of Apex in Reston, Virginia. And we're going to do that same boot camp over again on April 10th. So that's next Tuesday and Thursday. If you don't have the opportunity to go yourself, but you know someone who might be interested, please share the fact that we are offering these bootcamp events wherever they are. And they are in partnership with ODTUG, and they host Kscope 25, which is also going to be in Dallas in June. So we're going to have another big bootcamp event happening there, but that one will be 2.5 days. And of course, that one won't be free, but it's going to be a lot of fun. The Apex Alpe Adria event is happening in April in Croatia. And then we have the Oracle Apex Roadshow in India in Hyderabad, April 18th. And if you're curious about even more events, of course, on our website, you can find all this information, apex.oracle.com/go/events. Last but not least, if you are interested in becoming an Oracle Apex professional, the latest learning path you need to follow is available from the link here with this QR code. You can claim your free certification until May 15th, this next month coming up. Well, actually 6 weeks, right? And it's free. You can go ahead and do the free course and the training, learn all about Apex, maybe get a lot of practice in, and then opt to take the first test for free from Oracle University. And if you pass it, you become branded as an Oracle Apex certified professional. It's great for your resume and LinkedIn and so much more. So please make sure you have an opportunity to take a look at this yourself. If you're not already certified, it's definitely worth your time. But again, if you know somebody else that might be interested in this content, please make sure you share it with them. Just good to know that it's available for free for a few more weeks. Normally it's a few $100. Don't quote me on that. But the reality is this is a great opportunity. Now, today in this specific session, we're going to be talking about the document generator. We're going to have 2 of our experts on the dev team here presenting. But if you have questions, please post them in the Q&A section. Do not use the chat for questions. Please use the Q&A button. It's at the bottom of Zoom. And that way, the rest of the team that's monitoring this presentation can help answer your questions. If your question is not about document generator, please use our forum at apex.oracle.com/forum to create a new post. That way, again, the whole team will have an opportunity to speak to this particular question you might have and give you the best possible answer in a timely fashion. So today's speakers, we have Menno and Roopesh from the Apex development and product management team. Menno's involved in all the wonderful reporting capabilities we have with Apex, including document generator integration. And Roopesh is one of our Apex product managers who is able to put a lot of these different proof of concepts and all these other different sample apps together, and even has authored some of the blogs that you see out there in blogs.oracle.com. So having said all that, I'm going to turn it over to Menno to share his screen, and we'll start with the presentation.
All right. Thank you, Jason. And for today's session, I'm going to do everything on OCI. So we have in the Apex team a tenancy, the Oracle Apex Dev tenancy. And what I've done here to briefly demonstrate is that I have my own compartment. So I called it the Apex office hours. And this is where the components that we'll be using today from OCI are installed. So we're going to be using Apex, we're going to be using document generator, we're going to be using object storage, and all those components live inside this compartment. If we have a look here under developer services, you can see that I have set up an Apex instance. I've called it Apex 24.2. So that's already set up, and indeed it's up and running. What I didn't do so far is configure document generator. And if you're new to document generator, it's an OCI function, and it lets you basically use Office templates, combine them with JSON data, and generate PDFs or additionally Word or Excel documents. So how do we get started? Well, first of all, if you go back to developer services, you will notice here that you can configure applications. And applications is like a bundled group of functions. So it can be super small functions. Document generator is quite a big function. So I've configured my Apex apps application. And to make this work, what you need to do is you need to configure a VCN. So that will be on the network tab where you have your virtual cloud networks. And if you go to overview, there's a nice wizard. So that's really what I suggest if you do this for the first time, to set up your VCN, use this wizard. It makes it super easy. So back to the developer services, I have my application, but when you look inside of it, you will see there are no functions yet. So I can create a custom function, but luckily Oracle also provides pre-built functions. And there are many. And right here in the middle, you will see that there's one called document generator. And this is the one we are talking about today, of course. So you can read more about it. And then there's a button in the top called create function. So I'll hit that button. I have to give it a name, and I will simply call it docgen. I don't need to create a new application, right? I have one. It's an empty one, but at least it's there. The wizard will also create a policy for me. So what this pre-built function document generator needs to do is access object storage. So it will look there for the JSON data, for your template, and it will store the output, the document for you that it generated. So it's going to be a dynamic group where this document function is part of, and it needs to manage objects in my compartment. I'm also going to enable provisioned concurrency. And what that does, it ensures hot starts. And what it means is the function needs to be loaded into memory if you request it. It stays hot, usually for 5 minutes, and afterwards it goes down again, and that saves you a lot of money. But this option makes sure that there are always at least 10 instances available, and when you request to generate a document, it's instantly available. So I'm going to do that because it demos a lot better when hot starts are enabled. And that's it. I hit the create button. You will see here that we are to 100%. All the steps have been completed. And now I can close this. I can even verify that what it did actually happened. So I have my application here, and it now should contain the docgen function. So that's there. Then I have a look at the policies, right? Docgen needs to be able to access object storage. So I go to identity and security, and I can look here if I have a policy, and indeed there's a new one just generated with the statement that we saw earlier. And at this point, uh, we have Apex, we have the document generator function, but how do we integrate them? And I want to take it over to Roopesh, who will show you a new wizard that we added in OCI that lets you do that a lot easier. So I'll stop sharing and over to you, Roopesh.
Thanks, Menno. That was an amazing introduction to OCI document generator function and how to create that with proper policies. Hello, everyone. My name is Roopesh. I'm part of Oracle Apex product team, like Jason introduced already. Over the next 10 to 15 minutes, we'll see how to set up document generator using the wizard that we have with the latest OCI updates. In order to do that, the first step, anyway, we want to integrate OCI document generator function with Apex. The first step is obviously to create OCI document generator function, which Menno just covered. Once this is created, the next step for us is to create a connection to our autonomous database. For example, I'll be using autonomous transaction processing. We need to create a connection to that using the developer tools or developer services section available on OCI. So we can just simply go to developer tools connections and start creating a connection to our autonomous database. Once this is done, the final step is to create a use the latest feature that got introduced with under your Apex instances. Once you go to developer services, under developer services, we have something called configure document generator. Upon clicking on it, you can just simply select which function to use, which connection to use, and which IAM policies to use. Once it is done, just click on simply configure document generator. That's it, will be done. We'll be seeing this in a live demonstration in a couple of minutes. Before going further, let us understand a little bit about database tools and connections. Database tools that comes by default in OCI, which will be available under developer services, is a managed service in Oracle Cloud Infrastructure that enables us to create connections not only to Oracle databases, but also to MySQL database. The main agenda of this session is to talk about how to create a connection to your autonomous database and then leverage it. So we'll be using autonomous database under database tools connections. And why you need to do that? When you use connections, what are the advantages? The sensitive information such as your passwords or your autonomous database claim credentials or wallet files are safely stored in your OCI vault. So there was a question about OCI vault. In order to maintain the security of your passwords and of your wallet files, you will be storing all these things in your OCI vault. And this creation of database tools is pretty straightforward. We'll be using the graphical user interface OCI console, and there's a guided connection creation builder that is available. So yeah, now let us quickly jump into the demo and see how it works. So before going to OCI console, I'm just trying to show my Apex instance. This is my Apex instance settings. Under instance settings, if you see report printing, it is not configured yet. It is set to none as of now. So our main motto is to set it to OCI document generator, and we should get everything, all the details here. So let me just go back. I'm not going to change anything. I'm just heading back to my OCI console. Inside my OCI console, Menno has already created a OCI document generator function. So let us head back to developer services. Under developer services, like I mentioned, under database tools, we have a functionality called connections. So simply navigate to connections. Under your connections, I'm just going to create a new connection here with the name Apex DocGen connection. So like Menno already mentioned, we'll be using Apex Office Source compartment everywhere. So I'm just leaving that to default. And you can either select your database or also enter database information. For this demo and use case, I'll be selecting my database. Like I mentioned, we'll be using Oracle Autonomous Transaction Processing. So I'm just selecting Autonomous Database. Under the compartment, we'll be using Apex 24.2 as my autonomous database. Now, the next step is to provide a username. Basically, we'll be providing admin username. It's not a mandate, although you can also provide any user with Apex administrator role and any user that has privileges to create database, to create or access database cloud admin credential PL SQL API. So by default, I'm going to admin. So in order to secure my password, like I mentioned earlier, we'll be utilizing OCI Vault to store my passwords. I'm just going back Apex 24.2 DocGen password. So let me name it like that. And it is created. We have a vault already created. It's a simple wizard-based vault creation page. You can just check it out. I'm going to use a password vault. And in the same compartment, we do also have a encryption key creator. It is just loading. You can see docgen key is my encryption key, and I'll be using my password here. So that's it. I'm done with my password secret creation. As in, when you create, it will automatically display the password secret here. If not, it's very easy. Just go ahead and select it using the drop-down. And when I selected my Apex instance, it will also automatically pick up my connection string over here. So I'm just leaving it. And also you also have an option to access your database via private network. You need to configure your VCN. I'm not going to do that for now. And the final step to create this connection is to provide SSL details. So again, we do have some wallets created. I'm just going to create a new one for now. SSL, I'll just name it something. And again, same compartment. I do have a wallet vault already. Ideally, you don't need to create two different vaults. You can use the same one. But I'm just, for this demo, I created one. So there are two options for you to update your wallets here. Either your connection will automatically retrieve your regional wallet from your autonomous database, or if you have private key, you can just drag it and drop it over here. I'm going to the default. I'm going to retrieve regional wallet from autonomous database. That's it. When I click on create, my connection will be created in next couple of seconds. I'm done. Let me just navigate back. Okay, I'm all done with this. When I click on create, my connection will be created in a couple of seconds. So that's it. Once my connection is created, I need to check whether it works fine or not, or I messed up with some passwords or something. Let me just click on validate and click on validate connection. It will automatically test your connection. As you can see, my connection is completed successfully and it is validated. That's it. I'm done with my connection configuration. The next step for this is to go ahead. Again, I'm navigating back to developer services. Under developer services, we are going to Apex instances. So we configured for autonomous database with the name Apex 24.2, which is available under Apex officers compartment. So I'm just in the same compartment. I'm just selecting my autonomous. Once you are here, you can see there is a new button under actions called configure document generator. This is a feature that we'll leverage to configure your Apex with docgen. So simply click on configure document generator. The connection that we just created, let us select that. Once you select it, it provides various options for you. I'm just mentioning enable document generator for Apex instance. So it will automatically create a resource principal for you in the backend. And if you see compartment, the document generator function which Menno created, I'm just selecting that docgen. And object storage bucket is available in Apex officers compartment itself. And you can also see it creates policies for you automatically. You just need to name it. I'm going to create it under Apex officers policy compartment. And you can also see allow any user to manage objects, to manage buckets, or allow any user to use functions family in this particular compartment for this particular resource principal ID. So that is what it allows. Let me just name it resource principal Apex 24.2. And I can just simply click on configure. The wizard does all the job. You don't need to select everything manually and do that. By the time I explained, the wizard created the IAM policy and it also configured the document generator for us. Now all I need, I can just close it. Go back to my instance settings. I'll just refresh my instance. You can see automatically it has picked up the resource principal that my document generator we configured, object storage, namespace, compartment ID, bucket ID, function ID, everything has been picked up automatically. So you don't need to go through the manual configuration steps for this. With that, my document generator is configured. I'll just try to share my presentation back on how to configure this. If you're looking for how to configure this, we recently published a blog post on how to 3 easy steps to integrate OCA document generator function with Apex. Please do check this out. And yeah, with this, now my document generator function is configured. The next step for us is to generate reports with the help of this. So in order to do that, I'm handing it over to Menno, who will show some cool demos for you, where we'll be using various dynamic ways of generating your reports. Handing it over to you, Menno. Thank you.
Thank you, Roopesh. So we are back here on OCI. And just to confirm, the document generator function was configured. And as last step, so you know what actually happens, now we have two policies. We have one policy that's for document generator to manage buckets, right? It needs to grab files from object storage. And we have a new policy for your autonomous database, because the autonomous database also needs to use object storage, and it needs to be able to invoke the function. And that's exactly the other one. That would be this one. So it can use functions, and it can do things with objects and buckets. That's just for completeness. Then over to Apex. Let's say we have an empty application, and it's the first time you're using document generator. I would suggest that you start by first learning a little bit about the actual tags that, for instance, you start with Word, a Word template. All the tags that are supported by document generator are documented. And I'll start with the most basic example to show you. So it will be really a hello world. This is static text, and this will be a placeholder that's going to be replaced with actual data from the JSON that you provide to it, right? So that's the most basic example, and that could be your first document that you could generate. In my application, how can I configure it? Well, the first thing you need to check is in edit application definition if you're using the instance level report printing server. And in my case, that's the correct one. So I'm using the instance settings. So that's okay. And I should be able to use document generator now. We are working in Apex, the native integration with report layouts and report queries. You would start with uploading a report layout. And this can be document generator supports Word templates and Excel templates. And let me show you the Excel template I will upload now. So I'm going to do something with employees and departments. Here you see that I have two worksheets. The first one is for the employees. I have a table, and this is called a vertical loop. That's the first part, the employees. Now, in my JSON, there is an array that's called employees, and that contains all the attributes like e-name, job, manager, hire date, salary, and commission. And then I'm ending that virtual loop. So this is supposed to generate multiple rows of data for me until it finishes. I do the same on the second worksheet. It's just a different data set. So it's my second array. I'm also going to emit all the departments by the name and location. So let's upload this one. I call it emp and depth. I'm going to choose that file, and I'm going to create my layout. The second step I need to do is go back to shared components and provide some actual data for it. So here in report queries, I create a new one. I will call it the same, and I select my existing report layout I've just created. The output format, it could be PDF, but let's do the Excel for now, right? Because you can convert Excel to Excel or Excel to PDF. The same is true if I uploaded a Word file, then I convert Word to Word or Word to PDF. Those are the available options. And then I want to specify a report query source. And I know I need two. I need one for employees and one for departments. So I'll call the first one employees. And I will select my employee table. And here it is. I click next. I get an overview. And I can simply add another query for my departments. And I can select my table again. Go next. And now we're pretty much done with the wizard. So I hit the next button. I get another overview. And I can say, please create this. When I open it up, I see the same information that we saw earlier in the wizard. And the nice thing is that it knows the source for the report is going to be JSON format. And there's this download button here, which I can click. And this will give you the data that is provided to document generator. So I have an array with employees and I have an array with my department information. There's also a test button, and this will actually invoke document generator. So if you're using this for the first time, right, it uses object storage, but we didn't specify which buckets document generator and our autonomous database should use for document generator. And that's managed internally by Apex. So if you would go now to storage, you will see here that I have one bucket, or I actually have two buckets. And there's one bucket with a lot of numbers. And this is the one managed by the Apex instance. This is actually your instance ID. It's an internal ID for your whole Apex instance. That's the naming we use for it. If you would look into here, you will see that we have two applications. I'm currently working in application 100. And we should see that there is a template file here because we've just uploaded that employees and departments file. So the file was generated. I can open it up. And I can see that all my employees are nicely formatted in this table. And on the second worksheet, I have all my departments. So that's basically how easy it is. And then, of course, you would like to start using it in your application. Well, this is an empty app, but I have at least a homepage. And one thing you could do is add a button here that submits the page. And then let's call it print. And this will start a process when that button is clicked. So when the button is clicked, print, I want to execute something. I don't want to execute code in this case because we have a dedicated print report process type. And the only thing I need to do is specify my report query. And if I want, I can override the file name. I click save. I go ahead and run this application. I click the print button, and there you will see that it nicely generates my PDF document, my Excel document. So that's how to get started. Right? The report layouts, report queries. And there are lots of ways that you can actually use it. So I have here another application. It's called Document Generator, and that application really demonstrates all the use cases for it. So as we saw earlier, we have the process type of to print a document. Now in this case, let's see what it prints. It's a PDF. And it's basically the same, but this time it has a nice logo. It has a nice footer with the redwood look and feel, and a title as well. I configured this a little bit different. So if we go and edit page 2, you will see that there is a button. So the process type has a button, but this button does not submit the page. It redirects to the same page, actually. And why do I do that? Well, that depends on the page settings that you have. So if you have reload on submit set to only for success, you cannot have a page processing type which returns a document. If you set it to only for success, the response should be JSON and not a PDF file. So in my other example, I set it to always, but this case, I leave it to only for success, which is the default. So the button redirects to the same page, and then I have a before header process. It's the same process, and it will print my report. And on my button, the redirect button, I just not specified only the page, but I also specified the request. So if this is the request, only then we want to print the document. So you will see that here too. We are calling the print reports. It's again the employees, but only when the request is print. And that's how you tie them together. Another one is a dynamic action. It basically does the same thing. It's the same report. And here I have a button and it has a dynamic action. And the action is to print the report. It has one extra attribute, and that's the item submit. So you can use can make changes on the client, and you can use this item to update the file name accordingly. You can also use session state in your report. So right now I'm currently selecting accounting. Let's download this PDF. And then I see I get all the employees for my accounting department. And if I would update it, let's say operations. I will see that there are no people working for operations. How is this configured? Well, we can have a look at this report. It will print the departments, and it's another report query. So let's have a look there. Oh, that doesn't work. Then I will go to shared components and look there. Departments. And here I specify a page item. So you can use those bind variables. If you have a page with an item, you can use those directly in your query. If you would test this department's report, you can also set the bind variables here. So if I set it here to, let's say I am now choosing 30, I submit it, and now I test the report. It should give me all the employees in sales, which is department number 30. Then we also updated classic reports and interactive reports. So very simple example. I can print this now using one of my report layouts. So I can click this print button. Again, it will show me the things, but notice that it's Word actually. It's not PDF anymore. So I can even change the content. What did we do here? If we go back here to page 3, I have my classic report. I enabled printing, and I said I want the output to be Word, and I specified a report layout. What's the interesting thing here is that you need to specify the data loop name. So I go to my report layout. I use the employees. And here is something called data loop name. So that's the name of the array. So when we are generating the JSON for this report, we are creating an array and we use this name that we specified here. And that name has to be equal to the name that you specified here as data loop tag name. So those things need to be aligned in order for this to work properly. All right. It's the same with the interactive report. I can download it here. And I could say download as PDF. And instead of the native PDF, you will now see that it's formatted with a logo and using basically any template that you would like. I could also do this to Excel, and it will probably use the same template because it was Excel based. And here you see that I'm not using the standard Excel, but I'm really getting the formatted template that I've specified. So if this functionality, the native standard functionality, is not enough for you, we provide additional APIs as well. You can print things using a report layout. So I have a button on this page. I say I want to download my employees. This will probably also redirect to the same page. And I'm going to print my employees. But I'm not going to use that native process type. Instead, I've specified my own PL/SQL code. And there's a new API, PL/SQL API called the Apex Print. And that allows you to generate documents as well. You specify, in this case, a report query static ID, and the layout, static ID, and which kind of outputs you want. So this is all documented. Let me close a few tabs. Here is a link to the Apex Print API. It has 4 overloads, how to generate the document. There's one here based on your own template. There's one for your report layout, report query. If you have custom data, that's supported as well. And the last one is a special one that needs to be used together with upload template and remove template. So you can upload a custom template to the object storage and use that to generate it instead of using one of your report layouts. And then I'm going to download it. I need to specify the content type, the actual file that was generated, and that's basically it. So if I hit that button, it should generate an Excel file with my employee data, which it indeed does. This one is more interesting. This is an invoice that I've added. It has the same button technique, so different process. What I'm doing here is generating my JSON manually. So this is not using a report query. I wanted to specify how my JSON should look like myself. So I've in this case it's just a string, but you can use one of the JSON object types that we now offer to generate JSON as you would like, or you can write your own JSON query. But I'm providing all my JSON as static data, and I'm passing that along to Apex Print generate document with my custom data, and I'm using still an uploaded report layout. And the output is PDF, and we're going to download it. So in that case, it uses that custom data, and it prints my invoice as you would expect. So I have my header data, as you saw here. That's all this data, and then I have items where I can loop over, and you will see them here. And this one is actually a good template to show you a little bit more about the different tags that document generator supports. So if I go to my shared components and I have my report layouts, I have here my invoice. Let's go ahead and download this one. So this is what it would look like. I have you can start by having the outer object, and that has attributes, so invoice.number, invoice.date, to name, to company, to street, etc. Here I'm starting again a loop, a vertical loop, to print all my items. And this is the interesting part, where I have a unit price, but it didn't specify in my data source. So if we go back here, and I'm gonna choose my print invoice. I didn't specify a format mask. I just provided a raw number. And document generator is capable of applying format mask itself. And it comes with a special tag. It's all documented. And it might be useful to know how that works. So here, I think let's see, number formatting. So this is what is all supported. There are a bunch of them. It's really useful to look at all these tags and see what advanced things you can accomplish using document generator. The last example here is not using a report layout stored in Apex. Instead, we're going to upload a custom one to object storage and use that to generate our document. So I'm going to choose a file here. I can use let's say the office hours file. What this will do is upload this template first, then invoke document generator and get the PDF back. I specified here that the name should be Emily. You will see that we're just saying, "Hi, Emily. Thank you for attending today's office hours." And then I was thinking, yes, with 23 AI, there's another great feature that works very well with Document Generator. And it's duality views. So I can create my JSON duality view, and I can use that as source for my report data. So that's what I've done here. I've created my view. That's what the syntax looks like. Then I'm still using an API because I'm not using a report query in this case, but it's become much more elegant. So I'm simply select star into my JSON for my duality view, where I'm selecting from a particular department and I want to see all the employees working for that department. I'm providing that as data source, so that makes it a lot easier and printing that as PDF. And that's what you see here. Now, even if all our features that we offer that are built into Apex, like the APIs and the declarative stuff, is not enough, I have another example application. And that's basically also what the sample document generator application uses. So this app was created before we had the integration with Apex, and it basically shows you how you can use document generator using the PL/SQL SDK for OCI. And it has a few examples again for an order and for the employees overview. I have some manual integration app, but I'm using the same PL/SQL SDK for OCI. Let's start this app. And on the main page, I'm showing some details. I did not store this information in my database. I'm just looking it up. So you can query $PDBS, and there's a column about your cloud information. So I can look up my tenancy. I can look up my region, and there are other ways to look up your namespace, your compartment OSID, and what the document generator function OSID is. What this application allows me to do is interact with OCI without using any of the native Apex functionality. So I can see here that I have two buckets, right? This is the bucket that Apex uses, and that contains the templates and everything we run so far. But I also added a custom bucket. So if I don't want Apex to manage things, but I want to be self-responsible, I'm using this custom bucket. And right now it contains a few files. So for instance, I can look at a file. Let's delete a generated PDF. But I've created, let's say, a property template, and I've uploaded it here. So I can have a look what it looks like. Again, it has a logo, and then it has to be filled with data to actually look good. And the point why I'm showing all this is because there are good APIs that let you interact with OCI. So if you never use the OCI PL/SQL SDK, I have here a small function that uses the PL/SQL SDK to get the objects for me. So it's a classic report. It lists all the objects. And here I have the same. I have a process that actually uploads something to the object storage. And there are so many APIs that you can use. So this is one, DBMS Cloud OCI object storage that put object. And that's all available. And there are many. So let me see if I search here for OCI PL/SQL SDK upload object. In this documentation, you can see that there's an API reference, and there's one for object storage. Also for functions. So if I want to invoke a function, I can do that. If I want to do something with object storage, there's a lot of functionality, and all these APIs are documented, and what the return types are, how to use them. And that's what I've done in this application. So I'm using a custom thing, and then in the end, what you can do is here is use custom fonts and images. So the native integration with Apex doesn't support uploading custom fonts and sending over images to print documents. But if you manage it yourself, that's all possible. You can find it here that there's an image tag. You have to specify it like this in your template, and then in your data that you send as payload, you can specify where the image is located, and by default it will be stored on object storage. You could do it inline, but the requests you send to the document generator have a maximum of 6 megabytes. So I'm storing them on object storage, right? And if we look again closely at our template, which is now closed, let me open it up. It's the property. Here we have that image tag. So it starts with percentage sign. I'm also using custom fonts. So I have fonts that I've installed on my system. This one is called Offsite. That's one I installed. And the other one is called Geneva. They are not available in Document Generator by default. That would make the function way too big to have a large list of fonts. You can actually look up which fonts they support. So if I go a little bit up, they have pre-configured a lot of fonts. I think it was a list of 22 with a lot of Google Noto fonts. That's a font that includes many, many characters used in scripts around the world, and some others, but not the ones that I want to use in my PDF file. But nothing holds me, because I can make my own integration with Document Generator. It lists by itself. So I can create this PDF. And I'm not downloading it now, but I'm showing you that it stored it on object storage. So I can now click on this link to show you the PDF that it generated. And I see that it applied that custom font. It inserted that image. It even specified it with a width and a height. So if I go to this page, page 3, I have here a process to generate the document. I'm basically creating my custom payload that I'm sending to Document Generator. And here is my image. So as I'm sending the title, price, description, everything, but also I'm sending an image. And it's stored on object storage. This is the name. And I can override the width and the height, for example. And then I specify where my template is located, that I use extra fonts, and I have uploaded them already. So I uploaded custom fonts as a zip file. And the important thing with fonts is, if you look at Document Generator, that you can only specify TrueType fonts or OpenType fonts, but you cannot specify TrueType font collections, for example. If I open up my fonts that I've installed on my system, you will see a lot of these TTC extensions. They will not work. So it has to be TTF or OTF. That's a limitation that you should be aware of. All right. And then I'm saying where the output should go to, and then I'm actually invoking the function. So I'm getting first the details, the metadata about the function. So I have the endpoint, and I'm going to use that to invoke it. Then it might return an error. So I'm going to observe or look into the response that I get. Is it an error, or is it a success? And if it's success, then I'm setting this page item to the file that it created. This syntax, the payload, is also documented. So if you go to the Document Generator function, and I'm going back up again, then there is the API specification. Here you can see the request reference, and this page shows, if you scroll down, the request single, for example. If you scroll here down, you will see an example of what the request should look like when you use it manually. So I know that's an advanced use case, but that's if you really want to use features that are not available in Apex, like fonts, like images. Know that it's possible with just a little bit of PL/SQL code. You can use the OCI PL/SQL SDK, or you can use DBMS Cloud, or you can even create your own REST APIs and do it like that. And that's basically it. That's all I have for today. So yeah, we keep adding new features. So maybe if you've seen it, let's scroll back here. if you look at what's actually there, anyway, they support passwords now, so you can protect your PDF with a password. Those things will probably also be in a future release of Apex. All right, thank you.
All good. Thank you so much, Menno. Really appreciate that. And Roopesh as well, with all the detailed information and the demos. We have a whole bunch of questions still in the Q&A. Thank you to everyone for using the Q&A feature of Zoom to ask these questions. This way we can keep track of what's left to be answered. We have 32 questions that were answered, and now we have 11 left unanswered. So let's see if we can quickly grab a couple of those. Menno, Malik asks, are all the tags mentioned in the document supposed to work with Document Generator?
Yes, I would say so. Yes.
Okay. And if they're not, please create a post on the Oracle Developer Forum and let's get a discussion going on. So another quick question here from Christina. Can we also fill in the data into the footer dynamically?
I would say yes, but I never tried.
Okay. Worth giving it a shot. Thank you, Christina, for your question. A couple more, if you don't mind. Brian has asked basically how the other technology stacks uses XML data, and he is wondering why the Apex did not leverage the same approach as the other Oracle tools, like why JSON instead of XML. Are there advantages? Something we should know about that?
That it's another team worked on Document Generator, so it's just an OCI service that anybody can use, and we as Apex team thought, hey, that makes a real good sense to integrate with Apex. About those design choices, I think JSON is a good format for your data. It's easy to understand, but I cannot answer why they made the choice. It's a different team.
Got a couple more that I think are worthwhile. Is it possible to email the generated document as part of generation or indirectly via another Apex step?
Absolutely. So if you use one of our APIs, the response that you get back from invoking Document Generator is a blob. And we have APIs to send attachments in emails containing a blob. So absolutely.
Right. And that includes with object storage, either which way.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So this other one's answered. Okay, cool. Does it support multi-byte characters, example, Japanese or Hebrew?
Yes. Everything is supported.
Fantastic. There's a few other good questions in here from Dharmendra. Can we merge two documents into one PDF?
That's a good question for the forum Document Generator.
I think that's more like you'd probably want to use like Apex Zip or something to zip up the final two documents and give a download or something.
Yeah, but I guys understand the merging of PDF, like adding pages to it. I don't think it's supported yet, but it's a good feature.
All right, cool. Is there any way to pass HTML or Markdown code to be rendered as the formatted text?
I believe that at this moment it's not, but it's certainly on the list of things for the team to add.
Okay. Another good question. Is it possible to send the report output directly to a physical printer to print?
It depends on, are there REST APIs for the printer? Or
right, and it could probably be sent over an IP-based submission over REST. Yeah, there's got to be a way to do it. I know people are doing report printing in general, so it should work the same way directly to it. All right, thank you for that answer. I am using AOP currently, which is Apex Office Print. Is there any easy way to migrate or convert to Doc Generator?
The syntax is pretty similar. You should really try to see if it still works. The templates are the same. The JSON should look the same. So yes.
It requires some experimentation for sure.
Yeah.
So is there any limitation of how many records or pages we can print maximum, like size or anything?
Yes, there's a timeout for functions in general. That's how much memory and CPU it consumes, and the timeout is set to maximum 5 minutes. There are no hard limits. It depends really on the amount of data, I guess, and also the amount of memory that you've given to the document generator function.
Okay. And what about prior support from older releases of Apex, like Apex 23 dot something on database 19C?
Yes, in those cases, in 19C, you would have to probably install manually the DBMS cloud package, which is supported for 19C above 19.11. And we cannot backport this native integration, but you can use for instance, the sample application or create your own requests using DBMS cloud. But it's all custom.
Got it. Well, there are a bunch of other questions here. We're sorry we can't get to them all today, everyone. But again, please visit our developer forum at apex.oracle.com/forum, create a new post. We'll get you the answers. And we do appreciate everyone on the panelist today, or panelist list today, helping with all the questions and the answers. We've had almost 50 questions asked and answered. And this has been another great session with great content with Apex office hours, talking about document generator and OCI and all the other great ways of extending the functionality of your Apex applications like never before. Thank you everyone for attending this office hours, and we're looking forward to seeing you again at the next one. If you're able to join any of the boot camp events around the country or the world, it'd be great to see you in person. If not, hopefully we'll see you at a conference near you very soon. Thank you again, everyone that's been on the call. We appreciate your time. We know your time is valuable, and this recording will be made available in the coming weeks. Thank you all. Have a great day.